This is Moss from Investor Partner Group coming in live today.
In relation to how to pick, if you want to buy something and it's not a forever home, then do not.
What do you think, looking back now, is probably one of the biggest mistakes that you did make on your journey through property investing that really could have been easily avoided with the right education?
Yeah, I would probably say that there were some beliefs that I had to quash. So the first one, which was the biggest mistake ever, and I would have never been able to come out of that if I didn't follow this pursuit, was I used to always think that cash is king, because that's how you're taught, right? Cash is king. You should always be thinking about cash. And so the more cash you have, the better you are.
Okay, yeah.
The way to think about this is it's not so much about cash, it's more about cash flow. So banks want cash flow, companies want cash flow, and your life would be better if it's only cash flow coming consistently to you, right?
Okay.
So you can have $1 million in cash sitting with you, but it's not consistent income that's coming in. You can burn that $1 million in literally 2 seconds, making one loose decision or one, wrong decision, right? Whereas if you have a consistent cash flow coming through various different income streams, that is where you basically squash everything and, turn yourself out and be something completely different. You use that as an opportunity to continuously grow rather than, making one decision, fingers crossed, hopefully this works in my direction, right? So in my early days, what I realized that I was very much focused on cash rather than cash flow. And that was the biggest mistake in pretty much everything that I was doing. And so paper rich, great, but really, really poor, living a poor life, and someone walking on the street would probably look at you and be like, oh, what is this bum doing, without knowing that, oh, this guy has, $3 million worth of net wealth, but you can't access it or can't do anything with it, right?
So are you, just so I can clarify on this as well, are you talking about like maybe having a portfolio that is like maybe done really well capital growth wise, but it's kind of eating you alive cash flow wise? Is that what you mean?
100%. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yes. And so, naturally people are very focused on market delivering growth to you, and they love, when property has gone from 500,000 to $1 million, great, awesome, but you're not selling it. You're not improving your life. So if this property is costing you to hold and your income is not growing on the other side, you are basically killing yourself slowly, right?
Okay. And you reckon that's the biggest one that you did in the beginning days, and then now look back on going, if I only did it cash flow wise, opposed to not saying capital growth isn't important, and I don't think that's what you're saying, but saying that really it's about the cash flow side of it that probably is leveled up a little bit more than you thought originally.
Definitely. And so there are, as I said, there are 5 things that I'm always sort of cautioned about now when I always go back in the memory lane about some of these things, right? So of course, one of them is, it's not cash that is king, it's cash flow. Not all debt is bad. It's just the matter of how do you manage debt. You need to understand that, for me at least, property is not a passive investment. It's treating it like a business. So I need to be on top of it, be proactive about some of these things. I need to know which are the non-performing assets so I can get rid of them, just like I would get rid of a non-performing employee. Okay. And how do I continuously manufacture equity while I'm building my portfolio? So not waiting on the market's mercy to deliver growth to you. In fact, doing it in such a way that I can guarantee my own returns regardless of what the market is doing.
On that note then, if you had to build your life to where it is now all over again, but let's say in half the time, what would you do different?
So 2 things. One is I would definitely acquire more properties with multiple exit strategies. Okay. And I'm really, really big on this. And what I mean is that buy and hold is great and it works. Definitely. There's nothing wrong with that. But having a single strategy in place where your exit means sell means that, you're blocking yourself off. And so what I mean by having properties with multiple exit strategies is you can renovate, you can subdivide, you can change the configuration of the house. And that gives you the flexibility of moving your portfolio in the direction that you want to move it to.